I matched with her on a Friday night. By Sunday, she was sitting in my kitchen, acting like she'd been there before. It started like any modern romance, swiping through the usual faces until I landed on hers. Her name was Eva and her profile was magnetic, classic beauty, vintage style photos and a bio that read, "I don't just want your time, I want your attention." We matched instantly. Our chat felt natural, almost perfect. She knew obscure music I liked, referenced old films I hadn't mentioned anywhere publicly, and even joked about my chipped black coffee mug, the one no one else had seen unless they'd been inside my apartment. I chalked it up to coincidence. Maybe I posted a photo somewhere with that mug in the background. Maybe she was just intuitive. She suggested we meet that weekend. I offered to grab a drink, maybe even better, smooth skin, cold eyes, and a presence that felt practiced. But loneliness blurs common sense. But she said, "Let's skip the bar. I'd rather come to yours. Feels more intimate." My apartment isn't big, just a one-bedroom in a quiet building, but I like my space. I poured 2 glasses of wine and waited. That should have been a red flag. Sunday evening came, and I nervously tiddied up. When she arrived, she looked exactly like her photos. Conversation flowed until, mid-sentence, she glanced down the hallway and said, "You moved the mirror." We sat in the kitchen, wine in hand. I froze. "What mirror?" She smiled, tilted her head. "The tall one. It used to lean against the wall at the end of the hallway. Maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else, okay? I think maybe this was a mistake." By the bedroom, I swallowed. I've never had a mirror there. Nothing. "Oh," she said quietly, taking a sip, but her eyes said otherwise. Or maybe she'd been in my apartment before through someone else, maybe a friend of a friend. But no one had ever stayed over. No one had keys. We kept chatting, but something shifted. She commented on my bookshelf arrangement, how I had finally thrown out the dying plant near the bathroom door, and that she missed my old shower curtain, the one with the faded koi fish. I had never shown anyone those things. Not missing. New. "You've been here before?" I asked, half laughing, half dreading the answer. Eva just looked at me, calm and unreadable. "I told you," she whispered. "We've met before. You just don't remember." I stood up. Not in the kitchen, not at the door, not inside. In the exact spot she once said the mirror used to be. She didn't argue. She didn't yell. She just stood, calmly walked to the front door and before leaving, turned and said, "Next time, don't forget me." Then she was gone. I didn't sleep that night. I double-checked every lock, scanned every inch of my apartment for hidden cameras or signs of entry. I tried calling the number she used to text me, but it was disconnected. Her profile was gone to vanished. I convinced myself it was a prank. I tried to forget it, but a few days later, I noticed something new. A mug in my cupboard, white ceramic, floral print. Not mine. Then the mirror appeared. It wasn't leaning against the hallway wall. It was mounted, as if it had been there all along. I asked my landlord if they'd come in for maintenance. They hadn't. No one had accessed my unit. I stopped inviting people over. I started sleeping with a knife beside my bed. One night, a week after Eva vanished, I came home to find her standing at the end of my hallway. Only now, there was a mirror and in the reflection, I saw myself sitting at the kitchen table. But she wasn't in the reflection. I blinked and she was gone. Except, not really, because ever since that night, every time I look in the mirror, I see small things wrong. Objects I didn't place, clothes I didn't wear. Sometimes, 2 of me. One in the reflection, one watching. I don't bring people over anymore. I can't tell what's real. But sometimes, when I pass by the mirror, it doesn't show me. It shows her, smiling, waiting, and sometimes waving. I tried everything. I threw the mirror out, smashed it, left it in the alley behind my apartment. The next morning, it was back on the wall, perfectly clean, no cracks, like I had imagined the whole thing. But I hadn't, because something else had changed too. The floral mug Eva left. It started showing up in different places, in the fridge, under the bed. once even on my pillow when I woke up. I called my building's security. They checked the cameras. They showed me footage of my door from the night before. It never opened. No one had entered my unit. No one had passed the front gate. Except I remembered it did. I heard the knob twist at exactly 3:33 a.m. I saw the silhouette walk past my bedroom. I didn't imagine it. And then came the photos. The photos were stored locally, as if I had taken them myself. I was asleep in bed and a figure stood in the mirror's reflection, but not in the room. It was her. They appeared in my phone's gallery, random shots of me asleep, brushing my teeth, standing in the hallway. Angles I didn't recognize. I live alone. No smart mirrors. No hidden cameras. Just me. Except the metadata showed they were taken at 3:33 a.m. on multiple nights, all from my phone. It wasn't a hack. Only I didn't. The worst one, Eva. That frozen smile. Hand pressed to the mirrors inside, not out. Wearing the same dress, like she was trapped, or waiting to get out. I called a psychic. Desperation makes you believe in things you used to laugh at. The woman walked into my apartment, stopped at the hallway mirror, and without me saying a word, whispered, "You invited her?" "No, I didn't," I said. "You invited something that's not supposed to be here." She's latched onto familiarity. She thinks this is a home. "Yes, you did," she said, "through the app, through the attention." "What do I do?" I asked. But when I stepped outside, cool wind, cars passing, people talking, I almost laughed. Maybe it was all in my head. The psychic didn't answer. She backed away and refused to return my calls. The next morning, my hallway smelled like her perfume. The final night, I packed a bag. Booked a hotel across town. I didn't care how paranoid I sounded, I just needed out. I took one last glance at the mirror before leaving. My reflection didn't move. It just stared, smiling, frozen. I blinked. I still don't know if she's a ghost, a glitch, or something older that crawled in through the cracks of my loneliness. So, did it? I turned away and grabbed my keys. The elevator ride down felt like hours. I held my phone like a weapon. I pulled out my phone to book the Uber. The screen lit up with a new notification from a contact I never saved. Eva text, "You forgot your bag." I turned around. There she was standing in my window inside my locked apartment, holding my overnight bag, waving, ending line. I ran, but I know this. She lives here now, and every time I look in a mirror, she gets a little closer.